Most brain decay doesn't announce itself with a sudden explosion or a dramatic loss of function. By the time most people notice they are becoming forgetful, foggy, or losing their mental edge, they have often already lost more than 40% of their functional neurons. And the terrifying reality is that this damage usually begins decades earlier, with habits that feel completely normal, completely socially acceptable, and, to the untrained eye, completely harmless. My name is Dr. Robert Lee, and over the last 30 years monitoring the metabolic and neurological health of seniors, I have watched thousands of patients arrive in my clinic with cognitive decline that was 100% preventable. Now, what fascinates me isn't just the medical complexity of the human brain, but the patterns, the same repeated behaviors, the same marketing misconceptions, and the same slow accumulation of molecular trash that nobody talks about until the diagnosis is official and the damage is permanent. So what I want to share in this video is the clinical reality I see every day, and hopefully teach you the brain repair protocol that might help you stay sharp, independent, and vibrant well into your 90s. And in return, if you find this information valuable by the end, then please consider subscribing to the channel, because it directly helps these science-backed strategies reach more seniors who are currently being lied to by the healthy food industry. So, here's what makes brain damage particularly sneaky. Your brain is protected by something called the blood-brain barrier. It is a highly selective security system designed to keep toxins out while letting nutrients in. But as we age, specifically after the age of 60, this barrier becomes leaky. It becomes permeable to inflammatory compounds that we once handled with ease. You have roughly 86 billion neurons, and they are remarkably resilient. You can lose millions of them before you ever forget a name or lose your car keys. That reserve capacity is brilliant for survival, but it creates this dangerous neurological blind spot. People assume their brain is healthy because they can still do the crossword puzzle, but beneath the surface, their synapses are quietly deteriorating. I check metabolic markers in the vast majority of my senior patients, and in all honesty, it is rare for me to find a completely healthy brain metabolism profile in someone over the age of 50 these days. Most are already showing signs of artery rusting and DNA fraying. So, today I'm going to walk you through the 5 common mistakes that are gradually rotting your brain cells. And more importantly, I'm going to explain exactly what is happening at a physiological level, from glycation to mitochondrial decay. And if you stay until mistake number 4, I am going to debunk the biggest lie in modern neurology, a myth about cholesterol that is actually starving your brain of the very fuel it needs to survive. First on the list today, and perhaps the most unexpected for many of you, is something sitting in nearly every healthy kitchen in the country: the heart-healthy seed oil mistake. I'm talking about soybean oil, canola oil, and grapeseed oil. These are the polyunsaturated fatty acids, or PUFAs, that the medical establishment told you were better for you than butter or lard. They told you these would lower your cholesterol, and on paper they do, but your brain doesn't care about a paper cholesterol score. Your brain cares about the integrity of its cell membranes. Your brain is the fattiest organ in your body. It is roughly 60% fat. Every single one of your brain cells is encased in a protective layer called the myelin sheath. This sheath is what allows electrical signals to travel at lightning speed from one neuron to another. When you consume these industrial seed oils, which are high in omega-6 linoleic acid, your body has no choice but to incorporate these unstable, fragile fats into your brain's architecture. Because these fats are unstable, they are highly prone to oxidation. Think of it like building a house out of wood that is already rotting. When these fats meet the high oxygen environment of your brain, they rust. This process is called lipid peroxidation. It creates a toxic sludge of free radicals that scar the myelin sheath. The result? Your electrical signals slow down. This is the root cause of that brain fog you feel in the mid-afternoon. It isn't just getting older. It is literally a short circuit in your neurological wiring caused by the wrong fuel. For most people, the occasional fried meal isn't the issue. The danger is the chronic daily accumulation of these healthy oils found in salad dressings, mayo, and even your whole grain breads. Moving on to number 2, which is the silent killer of cognitive function, and that is chronic insulin spikes from healthy carbohydrates. Now, what many people don't realize is that your brain is incredibly sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations. We are taught to fear diabetes, but we aren't taught to fear insulin resistance of the brain, what many researchers are now calling type 3 diabetes. Your brain is a massive consumer of energy, but it requires that energy to be delivered in a steady, controlled flow. When you eat healthy whole wheat toast, fruit juice, or oat milk for breakfast, you are causing a massive spike in blood glucose. Your pancreas responds by flooding your system with insulin to move that sugar out of your blood. But after the age of 60, your blood-brain barrier becomes resistant to that insulin. This creates a starvation in the midst of plenty scenario. Your blood is full of sugar, but your brain cells can't get it inside. Even worse, high insulin levels block the production of an enzyme called insulin-degrading enzyme, IDE. This enzyme has a second vital job. It is the garbage man that clears out amyloid beta plaques from your brain. When IDE is busy trying to deal with your healthy breakfast sugar, it stops cleaning your brain. The result? The molecular trash begins to pile up between your neurons. These plaques act like physical roadblocks, preventing neurons from communicating. This is the slow rot that eventually leads to Alzheimer's and dementia. If your HbA1c is above 5.4, you are already in the danger zone. You are forcing your brain to work in a toxic sugar bath that is caramelizing your synapses through a process called glycation. As we established in the artery rot protocols, glycation is 10 times more damaging to your tissues than high cholesterol. Number 3 on the list is something that sounds almost too simple to matter, but for seniors, it is a biological catastrophe: chronic mild dehydration. I'm not talking about the kind of thirst you feel after a workout. I'm talking about the persistent, low-level fluid and mineral deficiency that 75% of seniors live in every single day. As we age, our thirst mechanism becomes less accurate. You can be clinically dehydrated and not feel thirsty at all. When your brain doesn't get enough water and, more importantly, the right electrolytes like magnesium and potassium, your brain volume actually shrinks. This is called cerebral atrophy. Your brain sits in a bath of cerebral spinal fluid. This fluid is responsible for the glymphatic wash that happens while you sleep. Think of it like a dishwasher for your mind. If you are mildly dehydrated, the water pressure in that dishwasher is too low. The toxic metabolic waste from a day of thinking doesn't get flushed away. It sits there, causing low-grade neuroinflammation. This is why so many seniors wake up feeling foggy or crabby. It isn't just a bad night's sleep, it is a dirty brain. You don't need to drink a gallon of plain water. As we know, plain water can actually dilute your minerals and make the problem worse. You need smart water. You need mineral-balanced hydration that can actually cross the blood-brain barrier and plump up your neurons. Without it, your brain cells are like raisins, shriveled, fragile, and unable to hold an electrical charge. Now we come on to the biggest lie in modern neurology, and this is mistake number 4, something I find deeply disturbing because it is a myth about cholesterol that even most doctors get wrong. This is the brain starvation trap. For decades, you have been told that cholesterol is the enemy. You have been told to drive your numbers as low as possible to protect your heart. But here is what the heart-healthy industry neglected to tell you. Your brain, despite being only 2% of your body weight, contains 25% of your body's total cholesterol. Cholesterol is not sludge in the brain. It is the essential structural component of your synapses. It is the literal glue that holds your memories together. Without cholesterol, your neurons cannot communicate. They become mute. Your brain is a cholesterol-producing factory, but as we age, specifically after 60, that factory slows down. If you are following a low-fat diet, or if you are taking a high-dose statin to drive your cholesterol into the basement, you are effectively starving the architect. What the research shows is that low cholesterol levels in seniors are strongly associated with higher rates of depression, anxiety, and, most terrifyingly, dementia. In clinical circles, we sometimes refer to this as the brain eraser. When your cholesterol is too low, your brain cannot repair the myelin sheath we discussed in mistake number 1. It cannot build new connections. It cannot produce the steroid hormones like pregnenolone and progesterone that act as neuroprotective shields. You think you are protecting your heart, but you are actually erasing your mind. The brain needs healthy, unoxidized fats. It needs the beach ball cholesterol to maintain its structural integrity. When you starve it of fat and replace it with healthy carbohydrates, you are trading your cognitive future for a laboratory number that doesn't even accurately predict heart risk. Moving on to mistake number 5, which is perhaps the most invisible of all, circadian mismatch and the shutdown of the glymphatic system. This is the late night snacking mistake. Many of you have a small, healthy snack before bed, maybe some fruit, some yogurt, or a piece of whole grain toast. You think it helps you sleep. In reality, you are shutting down the brain's primary repair system at the exact moment it needs to turn on. As I mentioned earlier, your brain has a nighttime cleaning crew called the glymphatic system. This system is oxygen and insulin dependent. For the dishwasher of your brain to run, your insulin must be at its lowest point. When you eat a snack at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., your insulin spikes. This spike tells your body, we are in growth and storage mode. The problem is, you cannot clean and store at the same time. While you are asleep, your brain should be shrinking its cells by up to 60% to allow cerebral spinal fluid to flush out the amyloid plaque and the molecular trash. But if your insulin is high, those cells stay plump and swollen. The fluid cannot flow. The trash stays trapped between your neurons. Imagine never running the dishwasher in your house and just piling more dirty plates on the counter every night. That is what you are doing to your brain every time you eat late. Over time, this molecular trash creates a toxic, inflammatory environment that leads to synaptic pruning, where your brain literally starts cutting off connections because it can no longer maintain them. This is the slow rot that manifests as morning brain fog and the slow drift toward memory loss. And finally, we reach mistake number 6, a bonus mistake that requires nuance because this is where the artery-brain connection becomes undeniable: nitric oxide suppression through mouth breathing. This is the silent suffocation of your brain cells. Most people think breathing is just about getting air into the lungs, but for your brain, how you breathe determines how much oxygen reaches your neurons. When you breathe through your mouth, especially at night, you bypass the nitric oxide factory in your sinuses. Nitric oxide is the master vasodilator. It is the signal that tells your cerebral blood vessels to open up and deliver fuel. If you are a mouth breather, or if you have undiagnosed sleep apnea, you are living in a state of chronic nighttime hypoxia. Your brain is literally starving for oxygen for 8 hours every night. This hypoxia triggers a massive release of cortisol, the stress hormone. As we established in the brain repair protocols, high cortisol is neurotoxic. It kills cells in the hippocampus, the memory center of your brain. This is why seniors who mouth breathe or snore often wake up feeling like they've been in a fight. Their brain didn't spend the night repairing. It spent the night surviving a low oxygen emergency. You can eat all the superfoods in the world, but if you are suffocating your brain every night, those neurons will die off by the millions. Looking across all 6 of these factors, you should notice a clear metabolic pattern. Every single one of these mistakes causes damage through 3 specific biological pathways: glycation, inflammation, and oxidative stress. Brain decay isn't random bad luck or just getting old. It is the cumulative result of mechanical and metabolic stress repeated thousands of times over years and decades. Seed oils create the rusting fats that short-circuit your neurons. Healthy carbs create the insulin spikes that block the brain's garbage man. Dehydration lowers the water pressure in your cerebral dishwasher. Low-fat diets starve the architect of the cholesterol it needs for repair. Late-night eating shuts down the glymphatic wash, and mouth breathing suffocates the entire system. Different mechanisms, but the same endpoint: destroyed synapses. You are seeing the pattern now. I am hoping you realize that brain health is not a separate goal from heart health or leg strength. They are all integrated. Your brain is a vascular organ. It relies on the same blood flow and the same nitric oxide as your heart. If your healthy diet is rotting your arteries, it is rotting your brain cells 10 times faster because your neurons are the most metabolically demanding cells in your entire body. They cannot go offline for a minute without suffering damage. So, what do you actually do with all of this information? How do you flip the switch from decay mode back into repair mode? If you are at risk, meaning you are over the age of 60, you feel foggy in the mornings, or you have a family history of cognitive decline, you need to stop guessing and start tracking. You need to monitor your metabolic rhythm. This means checking your blood pressure, yes, but it also means checking your fastest insulin and your HbA1c. These are the true brain clocks. What you need to understand is that your brain is not a static organ. It is a highly dynamic, living system that is either in a state of synaptic pruning or synaptic repair. There is no neutral. Every single choice you make today, every healthy snack, every hour of sleep, every breath is either feeding the rot or fueling the rebuild. So, how do we fix this? How do we take a brain that has been caramelized by high insulin habits and short-circuited by industrial seed oils and turn it back into a sharp, resilient machine? Step 1. The metabolic quiet protocol. The most powerful thing you can do for your brain cells is to stop the constant metabolic noise. This means you must stop the grazing. According to the daily workflow and the longevity protocols, your brain needs long, uninterrupted periods of low insulin to activate the AMPK repair switch. You must finish your last meal at least 3 hours before you go to bed. This is non-negotiable. If you eat at 9 p.m. and sleep at 11 p.m., you have just canceled your brain's nightly wash. You are forcing your neurons to sit in their own waste for another 24 hours. By giving your body that 3-hour buffer, you allow insulin to drop, which signals to your glymphatic system that it is safe to turn on the dishwasher. This is how you clear the amyloid plaque before it becomes a permanent roadblock. Step 2. The architect's fuel swap. You must stop starving the architect. Your brain cells are built from cholesterol and saturated fats. If you want to repair the myelin sheath and protect your electrical wiring, you must replace the healthy seed oils with traditional stable fats. I want you to include 2 whole, pasture-raised eggs in your diet every single day. As we established in the monetization roadmap and the niche picking data, eggs are the #1 brain repair food. They provide the choline required for neurotransmitter production and the lutein needed to protect your brain fats from oxidation. Stop fearing the yolk. The yolk is where the brain-building medicine lives. Pair this with extra virgin olive oil, raw, never heated, to provide the oleocanthal that acts like a natural anti-inflammatory for your synapses. Step 3. The smart water reset. Stop drinking plain, distilled, or filtered water in isolation. It is dead water. It dilutes your minerals and lowers the water pressure in your brain's cleaning system. Every morning, I want you to use the morning repair drink we discussed. Warm water, a squeeze of fresh lemon, a teaspoon of beetroot powder, and a generous pinch of natural sea salt. The salt provides the osmotic pull to move hydration into the shriveled brain cells. The beetroot provides the nitric oxide to open the highway so oxygen can actually reach your memory center. This is how you plump up the raisin-like neurons and restore your mental clarity within minutes of waking. Step 4. Protecting the highway, the pine bark secret. Your brain relies on microvessels that are thinner than a human hair. These are the first to rust and stiffen. To repair this highway, you need the artery repair mechanic, pine bark extract. Clinical research shows that these specific polyphenols cross the blood-brain barrier and help reseal the leaks. This prevents the inflammatory metabolic trash from entering your brain tissue in the first place. By strengthening the barrier, you are giving your brain a security guard that it hasn't had in 20 years. Step 5. The nasal breathing anchor. You must protect your brain's oxygen supply. If you wake up with a dry mouth, you are suffocating your neurons at night. Try this tonight. Practice 5 minutes of slow, intentional nasal breathing before bed. This stimulates the vagus nerve and increases the production of nitric oxide in your sinuses. It tells your brain, the repair crew has arrived and the fuel lines are open. This simple, free habit can increase your deep sleep, the most restorative phase for your brain, by as much as 20%. Now, looking across these 5 mistakes and their solutions, you should see a clear pattern emerging. This isn't just about brain cells. This is about your entire vascular system. The same seed oils that rust your brain clog your heart. The same insulin spikes that block brain repair destroy your kidneys. The same dehydration that shrivels your neurons weakens your legs. This is integrated root cause medicine. You cannot fix the brain while the rest of the body is in storage and decay mode. What you actually do with this information is your choice. You can continue following the healthy marketing lies, eating the low-fat yogurt, drinking the oat milk, and wondering why your memory is fading. Or you can take control of your metabolic signaling. If you are over the age of 60, you don't have time to waste on hacks or quick fixes. You need to rebuild the foundation. You need to clear the trash, pave the highway, and feed the architect. I want you to take the 7-day Brain Clarity Challenge. Follow these 5 steps for 1 week. Finish eating 3 hours before bed. Replace seed oils with eggs and olive oil. Use mineralized smart water in the morning. Practice 5 minutes of nasal breathing before sleep. Eliminate the healthy sugar spikes. By day 4, the morning fog will lift. By day 7, the mental heaviness will dissipate. You will feel a level of cognitive sharpness that you thought was gone forever. That is not a miracle. That is your biology finally being given the right instructions. And for those of you who are worried that the damage has already gone too far, I have a message of hope. Your brain is neuroplastic. It is designed to adapt. It is waiting for you to flip the switch. But you need to know if you are in the danger zone. Stay tuned for my next video because I am going to walk you through the 10-second leg and balance test that can predict cognitive decline up to 5 years before the first symptoms appear. If you fail that test, your brain rot is already accelerated, and you need to start the Dr. Robert Lee Repair Protocol tonight. If this video added value to your life, like it and share it with a friend who is struggling with their memory. We are in a brain decay epidemic, and the truth is our only weapon. I am Dr. Robert Lee. Your brain knows how to repair itself. You just have to give it the signal. Stay sharp, stay flexible, and never stop repairing. I will see you in the next video.